Most top tip videos focus on skills and tips that you can apply when you're out on the ground. But this video is different because in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 top tips that will dramatically improve your time outdoors, and you can apply them before you even leave home. Tip number 1. Now this is going to sound very boring, you've heard it before, but I'm going to say it again. Let somebody know before you leave home where you are going and when you will be back. Nothing is guaranteed to ruin your time outdoors than something going badly wrong and nobody having a clue where you are. So let somebody know, either through an old school paper-based route or perhaps using more modern digital methods, more on that at the end of the video, where you're going, when you'll be back. Safety is an important part of that, yes, but from a different perspective, if you've gone through that process, then you know what you're planning to do. You're not making it up as you go along out on the ground. That means that you can follow that plan and spend more mental time and energy actually doing other things en route than literally figuring out where you're going to go next and how you're going to get there. Oh, which brings me nicely on to tip number 2. Have a checklist of kit that you take out with you. A checklist for summer, a checklist for winter, however many checklists you need, follow that checklist every single time you pack before you go out. No matter how many years you've done it, no matter how experienced you are, you're a human being and you'll forget things. Things will slip through the net. So have a checklist. Here's a checklist you can see on screen that I made for my son. He can work through that checklist, he can tick things off as he packs them, and then at the end of the trip he can untick them all and they'll appear back in his list again. These lists are editable, you can add to them if you realise that you needed to have taken something that wasn't on the list. You can take things off them if you find that you're actually taking things that you're just not using, and you can have multiple lists like I've already said, one for summer, one for winter, one for climbing, so on and so forth. Nothing else is guaranteed to ruin your trip than getting out there and realise that you haven't brought something that you really needed. So start that prep at home, make a checklist, stick to the checklist. Tip number 3. Set yourself some challenges and some goals whenever you go out. Now I'm not necessarily talking about a physical challenge or a physical goal, although it could be, but whenever you're at home planning for your next trip, say to yourself, on my next trip I want to, and insert into there something different that you haven't done before. It doesn't matter what it is, just be something different other than the route itself. Maybe you want to challenge yourself from a navigation perspective. Maybe you've never drank out of a stream and you want to do that safely. Maybe you've always cooked boil in the bag or dehydrated meals and you want to try your hand cooking something fresh. Maybe you'd like to try identifying different plant species or tree species. Maybe there's a bird song that you always hear but you don't know what it is, so you want to try and identify that. There was another one as well, but I forget what it was. It'll come to me. Doesn't matter what it is, but whenever you go outside, just try and do something different. Challenge yourself to something. Your skill set and your interest in the outdoors will increase dramatically over quite a short period of time. Oh yeah, I've remembered what it was. Maybe on your route, you want to try your hand at a little bit of scrambling, something like that. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more from my channel, then do feel free to hit that subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, a massive thank you. And if you want to support my channel even more, then why not consider hitting that Buy Me a Coffee link that's in the YouTube description below. Cheers. Tip number 4, do your research before you leave home. You know where you're going, right? Because you've been through that planning stage. So do some research on that area. What's its history? How was it formed? What is it known for? How has man had an impact upon it? What risks does that area face in the future? Are there any particular mammals, plants, birds, etc. that call it home that are quite unique? just over my right shoulder is Crincowlid. Did a bit of research on that, and believe it or not, but it's North Wales's deepest lake. A few weeks ago I was wild camping at North Wales's highest lake. It's also the scene of an aircraft crash, in the 1950s, I believe. Not quite recently I was walking up the Watkin path, did some research on that, and it's Britain's first public footpath. So they're quite very distinct things around those three areas. Yours might not be as distinct, but there will always be something that you can find out about that area, even if it's how it was formed, what the predominant rock type is, anything like that. Do that research and it will make the time that you spend out there much more interesting. You'll be able to spot things you wouldn't have spotted before because you've got that prior knowledge. So tip number 4, before you leave home, do some research on the area that you're heading into. There you are. You must be waiting for this 5th top tip. Well, that's over to you. What I want you to do is to comment below, reply below, and let me know what 5th tip would you suggest to people that they can do at home that helps better prepare and make them have a better time when they're actually out on the hill itself. Comment below. Earlier on in this video, I talked about a video where I was referring to both traditional and modern ways of leaving information behind about a route card. That's appearing on the screen now. Why not check it out?